Hi there, I'm Alina from Iceland Review, and we are back covering the volcano. Today is June 14th, or day 17 of the eruption that started on May 29th. You can probably see, some of you might recognize where we are. We are at the Blue Lagoon. There's the beautiful milky water in the background. And you can also see that there's quite a lot of people visiting and flocking to the lagoon today. So it has reopened and closed a couple of times since the eruption began. Yes, just 2 days ago it was actually closed due to pollution, which can be quite harmful if you're in it for too long. And you can also see right behind me Mount Thorpgjörn. And over there is the power plant by HS Orka. And actually getting to the Blue Lagoon and the power plant is quite an adventurous journey itself, because you need to basically drive all around the Reykjanes Peninsula on Nesvíkur and also pass the part of Nesvíkur that was covered by lava in our last video that you saw. And now they built a gravel road on top that you need to pass in order to go here. And it's actually pretty cool to see, because there's still steam rising up. And basically behind the power plant is already the volcano. So you can see it's pretty close. We're only about 3 kilometers from the crater that's left. Yeah, but this doesn't seem to stop people from visiting the Blue Lagoon and it opening again and again. Yeah. So we made it inside the facilities of the Blue Lagoon, and you can see people happily bathing right behind me. And according to somebody working here, the Blue Lagoon is fully booked today, which means about 2,500 people are gonna visit just today. And this has been also the case since they opened. They're mostly fully booked. What is pretty cool is that you can see the top of the crater right behind me and a little bit of mist, some kind of pollution mist over there. And apparently, when the crater was still a bit more powerful, you could actually see lava sometimes spewing out right from the lagoon, which is a pretty cool sight. They had to close yesterday because of pollution. There was a lot of sulfur dioxide here in the area because of unfortunate wind directions. But the wind has now passed, and currently the pollution cloud is moving to the northwest, to the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. I checked the map earlier, and it's going to change around and come back and will be over Grindavik by tonight, 6 p.m. But currently the air quality is quite good here. The only thing that we're dealing with right now is just some kind of sand pollution from the Icelandic highlands, but that's unrelated to the volcano. Yeah. So you can see there's a little bit of construction behind me. And if you would think that the Blue Lagoon is currently, figuring out if they're going to continue their operations, you're wrong. They're actually building a new extension right now to the lagoon. And right there, where you can see the crane, they're going to build a new sauna and also some kind of wellness cave. And apparently it will be done still this year. So they're continuing to expand their facilities, even though the volcanic threat is super close, just 3 kilometers over there. And you can see it from here. Yeah, another interesting thing that happened is that if you've been here at the Blue Lagoon, you know that they have on the parking lot, on the big parking lot, they had this glass house that was housing luggage storage, and that is actually right now under the berm. So they had to basically rip it down in order for civil defense to build the protection walls, and they are planning to build a new check-in luggage facility inside of the berm. It's apparently going to take a few years, but that would be very cool because it will be kind of underground. You walk through a tunnel into the berm, and it's kind of like going into Maurer. So Blue Lagoon is planning far ahead into the future. So you might wonder what happens if civil defense calls now and a new eruption would start. So they have already evacuated the Blue Lagoon twice from the lagoon itself. There was also once an evacuation from the hotel. But basically how it works, they have a couple of sirens here on the roofs all around me, and they will go off. And then there is this precise evacuation plan, so people leave the lagoon, they can quickly change and get dressed. And apparently the last 2 times they had to evacuate, it only took about 30 minutes until the whole facility, including hotel and the lagoon, was evacuated. So that's pretty fast, and they have apparently practiced about 4 times before they just opened again today. Where are you guys from?
We're from the United States, from Wisconsin.
Okay, and was it your first time in the Blue Lagoon?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and how was it? Are you aware of the active volcano?
We are.
And were you excited or?
It was, yeah, this is super fun. We got to see the volcano. We took some pictures, it was cool.
In the background, yeah.
Yeah, there's some, you could see it quite well, and there's also a kind of pollution cloud rising up. Did they inform you about the evacuation order?
They did. They informed us, and we came today because we knew the wind shifted, and so everything's blowing away. Yeah. So we felt safe with all of the warnings, and that they knew what they were doing to get us out if we needed to be. I think we were more nervous that things were going to be canceled, or we might get stuck for an extended amount of time. But we also know this is your life, and that you know what you're doing. So we felt okay coming.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, wait 1 second. I was thinking. Okay. So now we're back on the parking lot of the Blue Lagoon, and right behind me used to be, as I already mentioned, the kind of glass luggage building, which is now underneath the berm. They had to rip it down in order for civil defense to build the wall. And now all of the luggage is stored either in a container right there and also in the Silica Hotel until they have figured out and built this tunnel that I mentioned earlier. So now we're here closer to show you, because there's also a passage, or there used to be, right here in the berm, but now civil defense has ordered the Blue Lagoon to close it down in case of lava flow, and they're only going to leave a tiny little passage that you can just walk through, that they can just fill up quickly in case of just the next eruption being closer, or just lava flow coming to the berm. So yeah, loads happening here, and yeah. So we are here on Nesvegur, actually a bit above the original Nesvegur, where lava has overflowed the road, and now, since then, they actually built a new gravel road that you can see here. It is steaming up because below where I'm standing, it's still multiple 100 degrees hot. And you can kind of feel it here. Steam is coming up. Go carefully. Oh yeah. Like, the rock is pretty warm. You could probably do a nice hot stone massage here. And it's quite impressive how fast they managed to fix the road. One person asked on our Instagram how they do it. So they don't shovel the lava away from the road, but they just put gravel on top. Yes. So one issue that comes up with Grindavíkurvegur, one of the other, in total 3 roads that lead into Grindavik and out of the town, is that it has already been fixed 2 times. So now for the 3rd time on June 6th, lava has reached the road again, and you cannot build up on it with gravel indefinitely. At one point it's too high, so Grindavik is still waiting to be fixed currently. But yeah, as you see, it's a pretty functional road. People are driving over here. There's a lot of traffic, also to the Blue Lagoon, which also can lead to some problems. We've just heard from a search and rescue member that right before you basically cross to the left to take Norðurljósavegur to the Blue Lagoon, there's a security person from the Blue Lagoon sitting and checking if people are going into town, because if you're visiting the Blue Lagoon, you cannot go into Grindavik. It's not allowed, and in case somebody strays off, they need to call search and rescue, and they need to collect the lost tourists, which just adds on to their workload. And which was pretty interesting is that our contact from search and rescue said that it is pretty surreal that they're doing so much work to maintain Grindavik and the area and make everything work, and then tourists can just, you know, sit in the Blue Lagoon, soak and have a beer and just see the crater. It's just yeah, the comparison is pretty crazy. It's only one crater now. The activity has slowed down tremendously. And actually the lava field is pretty impressive, and it measures about 9.4 square kilometers now. And it's actually the biggest lava field in the series of the Sundhnúkagigaröð eruption since December 23. So that's 3.5 square miles for the Americans here. And in comparison, for example, with the March eruption, that lava field is only about 6 square kilometers in size. So this one also measures about, let me check, 41 million cubic meters, which is quite massive. And I mean, it's still going on. We don't know when it will stop. It might go on longer than the last one, which lasted until May 9th, about, I believe it was about 56 days. So yeah. So what else happened? There's currently a little lava pond below the crater that was just bubbling kind of happily. And there has also been very little seismic activity here. But what has happened is that land rise has begun again in the Svartsengi area, which is the area, Svartsengi means like black meadow in Icelandic, and it's the area that's just below Sýlingafell mountain. Yeah, just down at the foot of the mountain. Yeah, so what happened last time after the eruption began on May 29th is that after all of this land rise, the magma was transported into the crater row, and then the ground sank again. I believe it was about 20 centimeters that it sank, and now it's rising up again, meaning that there is more magma coming up from the depth then the volcano can basically spit out. So that means we're basically waiting for the next eruption, for the 9th eruption in total in the last 3 years. And that will be the 6th eruption of this series since December 23. The Earth Science Institute from the University of Iceland, they have published the first results of the composition of the lava from this eruption just last week, and it came out that it has a different chemical composition than the other eruptions of this series, which could indicate that actually the magma pocket that I was also mentioning in last week's video is changing. And they do not know yet what kind of changes this is, or these are, but it resembles more like the Geldingadalur 2021 eruption, the composition of the lava. So yeah, we'll probably get more information about this in the coming weeks. And we are also going to be here at the eruption site next week with a geologist, so we can ask them more about that. And if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments so we can ask an expert and get good answers for you. Okay, so that's it with today's update here at the eruption site, or close to the eruption site. I'm gonna see you again next week, and enjoy your weekend. Bye.